Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts, Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
Happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody. Whether you went out last weekend and made an ass out of yourself, or you're going out this weekend making an ass out of yourself, we salute you.
Are you going to do it on the day like some sort of crazy person?
You could do it on the day.
Midweek drunk.
Is it like Thursday?
It's the 17th, right? So, yes, it is. It is tomorrow.
Well,
Because, yes, secret, we're recording this on Wednesday.
Shh. Listen, our work schedules are hectic. Got to do what you got to do.
Correct. I can't be streaming in the middle of the night like I'm fucking EVS.
Like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
At any rate, going to talk about this week's shows. You never told me what the other stuff was. We're going to go over the second part of Bubblegum Crisis,
Yeah.
which is the Obari part, apparently.
I'm going to rant a little bit about the state of video game journalism once again and all the kerfuffle and lack thereof around Elden Ring because it's mostly retarded.
Before any of that, it's news time.
Yeah, it is news time. So, first bit of news here is pretty simple, straightforward. We got licenses. So, Discotek doing some good work. They had a mega Discotek Day live stream, which...
Whoa, mega.
They got some new licenses here. So, we got some Sympho gear. You know, never my favorite thing, but I know it's really unpopular. So,
I never understood Sympho gear.
no.
Like, I remember it really popped off on the internet years ago, and I watched it, and I still didn't get it, but whatever. It's not terrible. It's just, I don't know, my thing.
Yep.
If you like that new Macross series, that's Sympho gear. It's like singing little girls' feelings time with kind of powered suits.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've watched like a couple episodes, but it just never caught on with me. Lupin the Third, Prison of the Past, which is a special from 2019. They're also releasing Lupin the Third Part 1.
That's one I've never seen. I haven't seen any of the like new Lupin movies, really.
Except that
Yeah, the CG,
the CG one. Some Case Closed stuff, which it looks exciting, but good.
Case closed.
Galactic Whirlwind Sasuriger.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're getting dank.
Super dank.
Powered Armor Dorvac.
That I've actually heard of.
Yeah, pretty classic. Definitely be picking some of these up. Some Digimon, Homes of Kyoto, Moncall Knights,
Sure.
some Kuroro Gunso, Sergeant Frog, whatever you want to say, and the 1980 Astro Boy series. It's not the original, but the 1980 one.
Huh. Man, they've been doing Astro Boy forever.
Yeah, so pretty cool. I mean, the Sasuriger one's interesting. I don't know if they've done Breiger or Basinger.
I have like
I'm assuming they did because Sasuriger's the third one.
I have fan subs of all the Breiger movies.
Yeah,
I don't think they ever did the series though.
I don't know if these are any damn good, but they're like, 80s super robots, which is a very strange beast. They did a lot of really crazy experimental shit
They're
with those
pretty much
series.
always entertaining.
Yeah, sometimes they end like, oh my God, you want to kill yourself poorly because Ideon had a lot of influence, I think.
I'm looking at you, Zambot.
Late 70s, but I think that might have been the one that set it off.
Probably. So depressing.
Thanks, Tamino. Take your meds. So, yeah. Also, apparently, we got another order to make because Fist of the North Star Volume 4 looks to be out.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Anyway.
The only problem is I read them in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm empty inside.
That is the problem. So, continuing on. Not only they got new releases that, perhaps haven't had releases over here, or at least not recently. They're also doing restorations. So you get things like Cyber City Uedo,
Nice.
Violence Jack.
Oh my God. I remember watching Violence Jack. So fucking ridiculous.
Project AKO 2.
Oh, you know what's crazy? They're actually like, they've done Blu-rays of all the big Go Nagai series in Japan.
Yep.
Because like I found torrents of them.
Well, you're getting Devilman. So Devilman's coming over here.
I would gladly pay money for them, but like they look
the
really,
original 1972.
They look really, really nice. What they've done, the cleanup.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
They're
going to
be silly, but
that old.
Yeah, and the Uzumaki, that's the live action film based on, I'm assuming, the Manga from Junji Ito, which I have not
I would assume
seen,
so.
but I do own the manga. Yeah, that's some new releases coming out. Discotek, like I said, doing some good work.
They've always been good.
Pick that stuff up. Yeah, them and Sentai do like everything nowadays, it seems.
All the old stuff, anyway.
That's what I said. I said the good stuff. Oh, shit.
Zing.
Shots fired. All right, on other new release news, there is now a trailer up for Tiger and Bunny 2.
Wow, I've only been waiting like 10 years for that.
I know. Again, Japan with their weird timing on stuff, but
it's kind of good, though, because we've said this probably 100 times before. Now I'll go back and watch all the old Tiger and Bunny.
yeah.
And,
And you figure, it makes sense with My Hero Academia being so popular.
Yeah,
it seems like the right time.
Basically, that was like probably the first like corporate superhero anime that came out, I believe.
Listen, it's the first one I ever remember watching.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to say someone's not going to pull some obscure OVA out of their ass. But
yeah, it's true.
That's the first one I remember.
But yeah, it's the first one I remember, like in the last, in the late 2000s.
So there's a trailer up. Looks like it's going to be on Netflix over here in the US of A.
Huh.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how the OVAs ended. Like I remember how the original series ended. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes and what the hook's going to be in this one, since I cannot remember anybody's name, but the one main character was, he was a wreck. And he was very, very much not able to do much super heroic by the end of that.
Oh, yeah, because it was like didn't he have the All Might thing where his powers were just
fading. Crapping out, yeah. So anyway, it just says that I got to go rewatch the original.
It was quality.
Oh, it was good stuff. And the ending was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was.
Quite a bit.
It was satisfying.
Yeah. All right, so in other news, now that people are starting to, get the hell out of their houses, maybe travel a little bit, hopefully more in the future, they actually are going to open the Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood, which is not in Hollywood, it's in Orlando.
It's true.
In 2023. So I don't know when in 2023 exactly, but that's good news. If you can't make it over to Japan, because I've seen the pictures of it over there, it looks freaking awesome.
I would love to see it. Yeah,
it looks really cool. So I'm kind of excited.
Well,
comes out over
Florida's
here. Check it out.
Florida's a 4-hour plane ride, and Japan's like a 30-hour plane ride. So take your pick.
You are way overstating both of those, but that's okay.
Florida's less than 4.
Florida's like 3.
Okay, fair enough. Man, I haven't been to Florida.
And Japan's like 15. Well, depending which way you're going, 13 to 15.
Fair enough. I was just saying numbers.
Listen, once you get over like 6 hours on a plane, it feels like 100 hours.
I can't sit still for more than 4 hours, so everything beyond that is like a lifetime of misery.
Torture. So anyway, that's going to be coming out. Go online. You can see a lot of the, there's a lot of video already from the Japanese one, and I would imagine the US one will be a lot of the same. But, who knows? Yeah, strange spam calls incoming on my phone that make no sense. If you get a call from Middle Urban Dogs, that's spam. Don't pick it up.
Middle Urban Dogs.
It doesn't even make any sense.
That's like a bot.
I don't even own a dog.
Put some words together.
Anyway, interrupted.
I still get I get like multiple calls for student loan shit.
Yep.
Like a day, not a week, a day. I haven't had a student loan since 1999.
Hey man, they're desperate.
I'm just saying. It's
like
fucking ridiculous.
You had 1 penny left on there. Now you owe them $42,000.
No, I paid it all off. Positive. Posit.
We'll see. We'll see when their leg breakers show up to your door.
I wonder. I don't know if you even get anything. It's like when I paid my truck off, they gave me the title.
I got nothing. They stopped sending me bills.
Yeah, that's about it. It's weird. I want like something in writing.
Yeah. So
sneaky fuckers.
Anyway, next bit of news is just Japan and their awards awarding the right things, like giving me an award to the moving life-size Gundam that should win awards. Goddammit, because it's cool. Straight. Stop giving awards to stupid things, dumb actors. Give awards to awesome Gundam statues that move.
They certainly deserve it more.
Very cool. So it won a Media Arts Award. And this was announced by the Ministry of Cultural Affairs, because of course it was.
Do we have one of those? I'm kind of jealous.
No, we don't have any ministries, but sure. It's the U.S. Our cultural imports back in the day, very good. Our cultural imports now, not so much.
Not so much.
Not so much.
We're gonna get banned.
It won an award. It doesn't mean much of anything. I just want to say that, Japan's got their priorities straight on this one.
They worked really hard on it.
That they did. That they did.
It looks really difficult to build. I'm just saying.
It definitely does. Well, it also makes you realize how damn near impossible it would be to build an actual one, which makes me sad. But
yeah,
ones that operate only in space is one thing, but ones
I think
that
we've had this
in
argument
gravity,
a lot of times before, and you're basically getting a scope dog, which is just a coffin on wheels.
Yeah, pretty much. Not until I get my polymer ringer fluid first.
What else are you going to power it with?
It's not flammable in any way. Don't worry about it.
It's not like you have batteries that can last more than 20 minutes.
Yeah. Freaking Elon Musk. Get on that, will you?
I keep hearing, battery technology breakthrough, blah, 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 but it never fucking happens.
Can they create a kind of battery that doesn't require slave labor in Africa? Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't a political podcast. We'll move on.
Never mind.
Speaking of not being a political podcast, the President-elect of Chile has received a Squirtle as his administration's starter Pokemon.
Guess that's a good place to start.
I mean, what? Chile's a strange place, apparently. Really? You're giving out Pokemon to the... I don't get it. I mean, I get that this, cultural exchange. And again, it's another Japanese minister. This one, the foreign affairs minister.
I'm jealous. We don't have any ministers.
Who gave it to him? But yeah, we don't have any ministers. We don't have that kind of thing. We have secretaries instead of ministers.
Oh my God, minister sounds so much cooler.
Yeah, that's because
Secretary
of State.
Get me a fucking cup of coffee.
Secretary of Defense. Yeah.
It's so lame.
Hey,
I never thought about that before. Get me a cup of coffee.
That's our version of ministers.
And then when it doesn't taste right, I'm going to throw it at him.
I was going to go Hegemon, Warlord.
Hegemony.
Yeah, something. We could have cooler titles.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's get a constitutional convention going. We'll get some cooler titles up in here.
Secretary is weak sauce.
I don't think these words work anymore. We need a cooler name than president, too, like Supreme Overfiend or something. Let's make it happen.
Daimo,
yeah, right. Damn it, freaking Shogun. I need a Shogun. Shogun of the Dark.
On Koku Dai Shogun?
No, not on Koku Dai Shogun.
Are you sure?
Listen, man, I don't want to see Mori Hakase get it again.
No, I can't bear it.
Too depressing.
I just bring it back to life.
Watch the Mazen Kaiser movie, the Enkoku Dai Shogun one.
Oh fuck, we've never done Mazen Kaiser.
No, we haven't. Add it to the list.
Next week is our 50th review. We should do Mazen Kaiser. Because it's filled with hot blood.
Thanks.
Action.
Add another 13-episode series in between now and then. I appreciate it.
That long? I thought it was a movie.
No. We could do the Enkoku Dai Shogun movie, but it's really not that great. The series is good.
No, but it's like a direct sequel to Mazen Kaiser. Yeah. Okay, never mind. That's too long.
We could do SKL. It's much shorter.
No.
No? No. Okay. Just, throwing it out there.
Fuck it. I don't know what we'll do next week.
Okay. All right. And then final bit of news here, which I suppose is slightly political as well, but it's kind of funny. This is confession through projection. So let me be clear.
There's so much of that going on lately.
I'm against censorship pretty much, period, right? That also doesn't mean that certain things shouldn't be in schools, but this one's weird. So, I don't need copies of, I'll date myself, copies of Playboy in school. Well, as appreciative as I would be, you'd never get the pages open.
It was quality back in the day.
But, so, Representative Matt Shaheen from Texas has cited Goblin Slayer as a book that shouldn't be allowed in schools.
Why specifically Goblin Slayer?
Why specifically Goblin Slayer? You asked the $1 million question, sir. One, why the fuck would Goblin Slayer ever be a book that would be in a school?
No idea.
I don't remember if I were you. I don't remember about you, but I don't remember there being comic books in school when I was a kid. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't have some of that stuff.
I mean,
you could have some manga, but it's just weird.
I smuggled them in so I could read them during class.
Well, yeah, of course, but they weren't part of the library or part of the curriculum. And then to mention Goblin Slayer in particular, because it's obscene, somehow it makes me think that someone has actually
is secretly really reading manga.
Might be a Goblin Slayer fan here. I don't know.
Definitely reads like, oh shit, I hope my kids don't find this.
Look, it has been strange watching, random boomer ass politicians like, play Attack on Titan music and, but it makes sense. I get it. Like, it's gotten big in the last 20, 30 years. But like to specifically call out Goblin Slayer and the books.
Our pop culture is dead, so they have to use somebody else's.
And to call it out in its book form too. Very particular.
That is very particular.
Very strange. So Representative Matt Shaheen, very strange, sir. I think you're protesting a bit too much here.
I got your fucking number.
I don't necessarily disagree that Goblin Slayer should not be the book that's available in school, although if it's a high school, who gives
it's a
shit?
little rapey.
But if it's in like if it's in an elementary school, yeah, not really appropriate for an elementary school audience. I got that.
That's TVMA.
But a little strange. I just thought this one was a little bit odd. Yeah, kind of funny.
I would like to know the backstory.
And I don't want back when we were younger, it was always the goddamn the super Christians, right? Like and nothing wrong with being a Christian, but it was like the evangelicals just whining about everything. Oh, we gotta censor this, censor that, censor. Like, shut up!
You're ruining the children.
Leave it alone. And then we started to get it, from the left for forever. Oh my God! Oh, you can't have it. Oh, it's gonna cause harm. You can't have this. And now it's swinging back the other way. Like, could we just take the censor pendulum and just rip it off the goddamn clock so it doesn't go in any direction?
Just
please?
dig a hole and bury it right in the middle.
Bury it where it belongs. My God. He also mentioned that there's graphic images of women being raped by demons. So someone is really into Goblin Slayer. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that solves that mystery.
And demons? I don't know. I haven't read the books, but there were no demons yet. There must be eventually because that's what that other chick was fighting.
Yeah.
But
it
was mainly the goblins. Regardless, very strange.
And if he's like that late in it where like demons are popping up, like shit.
Someone
like that's in the first volume, like
someone is balls deep in Goblin Slayer.
The
Let
goblin
me just put it
rape.
that way. And get that image out of your head, except you won't. Anyway, that's all I got. That's the news.
News.
Perhaps you should tell me about all the fun things you've watched this week.
This week's episodes. Pardon me. We're at the end of the season, so shit's popping.
Well, except for Attack on Titan, which is all weird, and it'll just happen when it happens.
Oh, everything's all weird. Fucking Sabakui Bisco got ridiculous. Like, there's a giant robot now.
Nice.
Like, people are being possessed by ghosts. I don't
Even better. Man, you just make me want to watch the show more and more.
It gets wild, yeah. Like, people you think are dead are possessing... apparently it wasn't a meteor that destroyed Japan. It was, 5 ridiculous giant robots. But they're not, regular giant robots. They're made out of, I don't know. They got, skeletons, but you can see through them, and it's, glowy. It's probably where the rust came from. It looks very rusty.
Sure.
And they got cool, face armor and shit on.
Nice.
Pretty metal.
Symbiotic Titan style?
Yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Another awesome show you should go check out at some point. Shame it never got more than the one season.
Yeah, pour one out for Symbiotic Titan.
Yeah, Gendy Tartakovsky, man.
It had such potential, and they just whacked it after one season.
Could have been America's Super Robot Show.
It was actually good, too.
That and Megas XLR. This is something we need to review on some point.
I don't...
Megas is the bomb.
I've read the tale of why that got canceled 1,000 times, but it's just red tape horseshit.
It's got a freaking Suzabi in it at the end, man. It's awesome.
Everyone loved it. I've never talked to one person that's over 30. It wasn't yeah, that's the best show ever.
Megas XLR, man, it was freaking boss. How could you not like it? It was awesome.
I don't know. But at any rate, that show just went batshit. It did the standard anime thing where it's oh, everything's wrapped up nice. They basically got to the end of everybody's arc last. And, they basically killed who they had to kill, blah, blah, blah. Tie a bow
Yeah, man, but it's time for a new arc.
Yeah, and then it's nope, we got 2 episodes. It's probably only going to be, I think it was episode 10 this week, so maybe 1 or 2 more episodes.
I don't know. That one might be continuing.
Of batshit nonsense. I mean, it's enjoyable.
That one,
not knocking it at all.
I think that one might be continuing, but I haven't looked it up. So
I don't know, man. It'd be really fucking weird if it did, for reasons I'm not going to discuss because I don't want to spoil it.
That's fine. You never know, man. Anyway. So what else did you watch? So Sabakui Bisco, check that shit out. It sounds like it's getting buck wild.
Yeah, it is really wild. And it was just a direction I did not see it going. I mean, they kept mentioning those things, but I didn't think that actually
some foreshadowing.
Whip one out.
Oh, so it's like Casino Royale. You can't believe it when they actually did it.
Yeah, right. At any rate, what else? Might as well get Attack on Titan out of the way. It actually makes sense now.
Okay.
Like, I'm pleased with it. Everything's happening. They got really down to, like, they're having to kill, like, people that they used to be friends with just because, like, the stakes are so fucking high now. And it's like, they get really, like, deep into human misery, which is a little much.
That's what that show's always been about at its core. It
really is. It's like, there's no winning this. It's just you either kill all your friends and try to, like, talk Eren down, or the rest of the world gets stomped out and you live on this shit island with all the weird Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Attack on Titan, man. It's a fucked up show.
It's a fucking grinder, man. But at least it makes sense now. Like, everybody's doing things they're supposed to do. Armin gets shot in the face, and he gets shot like 100 times, and then he gets shot like in the mouth, and he's just sitting there like comatose, like steaming. Oh, speaking of steam, guess what they did? All the Titans walked on the bottom of the ocean, just like Godzilla, just like I wanted.
Old-timey Godzilla, baby.
And you can
no
see
swimming.
them because there's mad steam coming up from like where they're walking.
That's awesome.
Like to the point where it's like clouds.
That's also very World War Z.
Yeah, it's pretty.
We had like the zombies walking on
up to islands.
The book,
and
by
shit.
the way, people read the book. The movie is garbage compared to the book.
Yeah, I wonder if like, because that book was huge when it first came out. Like, I didn't know one goddamn person, including my mom, that didn't read that book.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
I don't know. Maybe it's faded away. Even if you're sick of zombies, awesome book.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
pretty amazing. But
So Attack on Titan, it's doing its work. We'll probably talk about Attack on Titan when the season's over and
it's
do kind of a
finally
wrap up.
tying shit up though, like because the last like 5 episodes before like the last episode were just a fucking mess. A lot of shit that didn't need to happen. Like get it
Yeah,
together.
but that's
I don't know if
that's that's that show always, right? Attack on Titan's always been like that. It's just like nothing. Information dump, all kinds of crazy shit. Oh my god, I can't believe boring.
Yeah.
Like it just.
I don't
does
know
that.
if it's the anime. Like I didn't read that far into the manga, so I don't know if it's manga. If that writer's just like that. I mean,
I don't know.
he seemed to be like that in the first few volumes, or it's just they're trying to fill out a certain amount of episodes, like they like to do. Who the fuck knows? But it seems to be finally getting to the final arc, like legit style.
Yeah. All right. Anything else this week?
How a realist hero
Yeah.
rebuilt the kingdom. It took me how many weeks to finally say that correctly?
A lot.
A lot of fucking weeks.
But yeah, you have last week's and this week's to talk about. So
It's not going any like I don't see an end game really. I think it's just one of those shows where stuff
it's gonna
happens.
dunk.
But it's all the episodes are fun and interesting.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, like
don't
he
mind a
keeps
show
me
like that.
entertained. Last week he's basically trying like Soma's trying to like modernize, like up to normal democracy standards.
Yukihiro Soma? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I
Different.
know. It does it to me every time.
Everybody's name's Soma. But anyway, he's trying to like bring them up out of, medieval garbage. And he realizes that in order to do that, he has to he can't.
Yeah, there's steps in between.
He wants to abolish slavery because
Of course you want to abolish
the world
slavery.
he comes from frowned upon, right?
Yeah, as it should be.
But he knows if the entire economy runs on that. So if he gets rid of it right away, he's basically gonna have his head removed.
Someone read Civil War history and was taking notes when they wrote the show.
Exactly. So there's this one guy who inherits a slave trading outfit from his grandfather. He's basically like a slave broker, and he's like, I don't really, it's this young kid. He's like, I don't really want to do
I'm not
this.
into this.
But he's like, I like you guys, so I'm not going to fuck you over. So he basically teaches them how to read and write and do math and all this shit just to get their value higher. So only a really wealthy customer.
So they won't be
them.
mistreated even if they go
Yeah,
somewhere
I
else.
mean, theoretically, you can't guarantee anything.
Of course.
But there could be a rich guy just whipping bitches. You don't
Yeah,
know.
you don't know.
There's weirdos everywhere. But at
A lot
any
of them.
rate, in the context of the story, it works out, and Soma finds that guy and puts him in charge of some kind of learning center.
Slavery policy.
Basically, slavery learning center. So because if they're all too educated to be slaves, eventually it will just
Yeah, people that would mistreat them wouldn't be able to afford them, and then the higher class people maybe don't really want them to be slaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You could slowly work it out of the culture. I get it.
It was kind of a smart way to do that, though. That show is written smart.
I appreciate that.
All the stuff that happens makes perfect sense. It's crafty.
More than you could say about most shows in the West.
I know. That's why it's a throwaway fucking isekai show, but it's actually like written very craftily.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. What the fuck was this week's episode? I drew a blank. Wait.
I don't know. Save it for next week. We're going to watch Lupin, too. We haven't done that, so.
Yeah, whatever.
But Lupin will probably be a 2-parter to finish the season, so we'll see. Wrap that sucker
that's
up.
True. Anyway.
All right. So that's all you got?
Yeah, you can do your rant now.
That's good stuff. Oh, is it time? Is it time that I rant? So, Elden Ring. So Elden Ring came out a couple weeks ago, and I finally got around to playing it. Sorry, I was finishing up Hollow Knight, and I'm never beating the final secret boss because fuck you, Hollow Knight. It's not worth my time. So I started playing Elden Ring, and it's a Souls game, right? It's a Dark Souls, Bloodborne. It's that kind of game, right? It's always going to be that way. I think people had misconceptions that it would somehow be Breath of the Wild or something else, right?
Let's wander around, yay.
No, it's got that. There's a lot of wandering around. It's very cool. It's still a Souls game. The controls are the same. It's 90% the same as a Souls game. It's just not as linear, right? But it's not as linear. So the things people bitch about just crack me up. And I'm not just going to talk about the get good stuff where it's like, oh, it's too hard. I haven't seen as much of that this time, which is good. I think they learned their lesson. Plus, there's no excuse because you can just wander around the wilderness and go find other stuff to do and then come back. Like the first boss you reach, if you just follow the linear path and get to that first boss, he will take you up the ass without lube. Like it's not going to end well.
That doesn't sound pleasant
right?
at all.
But you go wander around for a while, you gain some levels, and you come back and you smack them around. Now, how dare you? How dare you destroy me, sir, and you get your sweet revenge, and it feels great.
Is that kind of the point of the game?
That is the point of the game. It's not that hard. When you think of the games we used to play, Nintendo games, it's not that hard. Don't get me wrong. Like, those boss fights are still, you got to learn patterns. You got to know what you're doing. If you've never played a Souls game before, I get it. Like, they're a little janky. It's a Japanese game. No offense, Japan. You make awesome games that I love, but they tend to be a little less smooth, a little jankier, a little more appealing to the video game otaku and less so to the mainstream person. And that's what I do love about this is they've already said, like, yeah, it's not for you. I don't care. Like, we're not lowering the difficulty. That's part of the point. Like, great. But what do we get in the West? Stupid articles from stupid people. So we get one article whining that, oh, the character creator doesn't let me have crinkly hair. I don't understand. It's racist. Like,
crinkly.
Knock this shit off. Like, one, every character you make in the game is going to look like an abomination because the From Software stuff doesn't really look that. Their character creation looks weird. All your characters look weird. Two, it gives you every skin tone in the book, like ones that don't even exist in reality. Like, you can make a legit drow elf. Like, you can do whatever you want, which is cool. And three, you're going to be wearing a fucking helmet most of the games. You're never going to see your goddamn hair.
Also true.
So it's very, very, very silly. Like, it does not make a lot of sense to be bitching about it. We get the usual whining about, oh, it's too hard. Like I said, not as much. I haven't seen as much of that, but I haven't looked for it as much. And then there was, oh God, PC Gamer had one, and I'm drawing a blank right now, but it was the dumbest criticism I've seen in a long time. Like, really? Like, this is the thing you're going to bitch about? And there's a lot of articles like that, so it doesn't really matter what PC Gamer said or what Polygon said. It really doesn't matter what Polygon said or Kotaku or any of these people. Like, it's just this furor that you get over these things where it's just, I'm going to use this to talk about a bigger issue that's very political that I'm not going to talk about, which is you get these young, overeducated, underexperienced dumbasses that don't know what the fuck they're doing writing articles for pennies.
Well, there are more articles. There are more, like, quote unquote journalists than there are things to write about. So they just pick the dumbest shit and write about it. Either that or a bot writes it and they, like, sign their name at the bottom.
And it's just, I get it. They're trying to go for that clickbait, outrage, whatever, get you engaged. But that's not a long-term sustainable strategy. And that's what I don't think people understood is just getting people mad. Like, Gamergate broke the universe. I swear to God, it like broke everything because it was so fucking stupid. It was so stupid.
Yep.
Like, people. Gatekeeping people just because of the color of their skin or their gender or their sex or whatever is stupid. You shouldn't do that. Now, unless you're the gatekeeper for like a women's bathroom or something. But gatekeeping people because they're horrible pieces of shit that actually don't give two shits about your hobby and just want to get into your hobby so they can hollow it out from within and wear it like a skin suit, that needs to happen.
Like everything.
And I'm not going to get in the whole gatekeeping thing because there have been other people on YouTube who've covered it far better, right? Like, they've covered the fact that you actually do need to gatekeep shitheads out of your hobby. You just have to.
Well, we've seen,
and it doesn't mean you can't stop them. Like, I can't stop someone from playing Elden Ring.
But we've seen the end result if you don't.
There is no exclusion. Like, quit whining. Like, I can't exclude someone from playing Elden Ring. Like, no, it could be easier because you're excluding people. Shut up. No. Go buy a different fucking game. Go play Biomutant. Shut up.
Isn't there like some fun like?
There are.
Isn't there Hello Kitty Island that you can go play?
There are so many fucking open world games that you can go play that will cater to you that I don't want to hear it.
Also, just wandering around doing nothing isn't really playing a game.
No. This is my sorry people out there, but this is my problem with Animal Crossing. Like, yeah, it's cool to play for a little while when you have goals. The second you don't have goals, I'm like, I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah,
there's nothing. There's no goal for me to reach.
That becomes a weird social thing. Like, get your pasty fucking ass outside.
It's why I always drifted away from MMOs eventually, even though they were fun. Like, once you kind of got all you wanted to do and out of the way, and you did some of the multiplayer stuff, and you got a little bored of that, you're like, I don't care anymore. Like, I want to reach that defined goal, experience the story, and have fun with it. Like, Elden Ring's going to be it's already a blast, and it's going to continue to be a blast because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to wander around with a purpose so that I can get better, so that I can level up, so I can find cool shit all over the place. And then, go fight more bosses and get to the goddamn end of the game. There's an end of the game that I'm trying to get to, and then I'm done.
Goals. It's your purpose in life.
And it's not my purpose in life because my purpose in life was to play Elden Ring. That would be sad unless I made a lot of money doing it. Then,
no, but that's your purpose.
More power to you.
In
the game.
That's your character's purpose. Is what
and the purpose, it's not just leisure time. It's also there's a story there, right? Like, video games are another form of storytelling, right? And they're an important form of storytelling.
You can make decisions.
And you're involved in it, but it took a while, and I think we're still getting there with how to do that, right? Because the method, like, it's like a book versus a manga versus anime versus even live action, right? Different things work for different genres of entertainment.
Oh, definitely.
And video games are their own thing, and you need to do different things. And, you see them getting better with more showing and not telling because that's the way you really should do it. Like, you don't need a bunch of exposition because you can learn on your own while you're going through the game.
It's like peak comic book writing. It was more, you could tell what was going on through the drawings.
The visuals are just as important.
If not more important. Like that old Walt Simonson shit. Like, he barely wrote any words. Listen, it was all action.
We've had this discussion. Love what Comicsgate is doing. Love what all these independent guys are doing. But half the time, it's like the art is fucking amazing. The product is good. Love it. Not sad I bought it, but then the story is like,
hire a goddamn writer.
Like, it's okay, but like, guys, come on.
They got half of it on lock.
Yeah. I mean, granted, sometimes it's awesome. And the guys at Iconic Comics are freaking crushing it. Like, they're awesome. But, that's the thing, right? Like, the visuals are very important, but you can't skimp on either because that's what the medium is, right? You need a good story, and you also need the visuals to complement that story.
Yeah.
And they're both very important, and you need to serve both things. Whereas, like, video games, it's a different thing, right? Like, the gameplay has to be good too there. You can't just skimp on that. Like, even if it's not your cup of tea, like that a certain type of gameplay, that gameplay needs to be there. Because if it's not there, you're not going to play it no matter how good the story is.
How many fucking video games have flopped because of that, where it's just like, the controls don't work?
Exactly. Well, and that's gotten better over the years, and you tolerate more back in the day. Like, the original Resident Evil with the tank controls makes you want to gouge your fucking eyes out now if you try to play it. Like,
it's
no chance.
Those old side scrollers where you had to, like, basically, like, your brain automatically, like figured it was going to take this little bit of extra like lag time.
Oh, the really shitty ones.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when you got used to things like, Mario Brothers with Nintendo, where it was so perfectly done that like, it just reacted supernaturally to your thoughts.
It was nice.
Even in the worst way, because when you started freaking out, you'd like jump into a pit.
Yes, every time.
But like, yeah, you're right. Like you'd have those games that were just shitty and they had input lag on the controls, which was no excuse back in the CRT days.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I mean, I think this has kind of devolved into a bigger discussion and not just a rant, but Elden Ring, like, it just shows, because it's the big game release, right? Like, it's the big tentpole game release. Like,
It's
boom,
the biggest
Elden fucking Ring.
It's the biggest one in quite some time.
It's, hey, George R.R. Martin, get your ass back to work and finish your fucking books. Yeah, they're never going to be as good as Tolkien. Swallow that black pill and finish your books.
He's not going to do it ever, and I told you why.
No. My conspiracy theory is that he's going to let them be released only after he's dead.
Maybe.
That they're done, but he's not going to release it until after he's dead. That's my conspiracy theory. I don't believe it. I really think that he's just lazy, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, have you seen him? Jesus Christ, he can barely get off a chair.
Yeah.
My theory is that the ending that got shit on was his ending, and now he doesn't know how to finish it.
Now he's very butthurt about it. You might be right.
I would bet money on that, because I'm almost positive.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're just trying to subvert Tolkien the whole time. Tolkien's ending was really fucking good. Maybe you should just do that. Put your own spin on it.
That was his whole thing. It's why I stopped giving a shit like after the first season, because I saw an interview with him and he was like just shitting on, he was basically shitting on things people like, that would never happen in a real medieval society, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was all black pill nonsense. Edgelord, edgelord, edgelord.
The Red Wedding would have never happened in medieval society because every single other lord in the area would have came down like the hammer of God on that guy.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Like, you hosted a wedding and you murdered everybody in the wedding party. Like, bro, you including another king. Like, nah, we're not. That's not gonna happen. Like, we're not gonna have that.
They're just any kind of society is gonna shit all over that. It's never gonna happen.
Anyway, that's our Gurm aside. Gurm. I gotta have two R's in the middle too because I'm as cool as J.R.R. Tolkien. He's not. Yeah, J.R.R. Tolkien went to 2 fucking world wars. I think he's more hardcore than
he's a bad man.
George R.R. Martin, who's just a fat fisherman looking motherfucker.
Yeah, what's with the hat, bro?
Anyway, I'll stop shitting on George R.R. Martin now. He probably likes it. So yeah, that's. I mean, I don't have much more to say about it. Like, I think it's kind of a double rant of like the state of journalism. And I will say this, like, if you're into Souls games at all, play Elden Ring. If you were into Breath of the Wild, give it a try. It's a good, wait for it to come down in price maybe, but it's a really good fucking game. It's a really good fucking game. Is it going to be hard at times? Yes. But if you wander somewhere you're not supposed to be, just like Breath of the Wild, you wander somewhere you're not supposed to be, you get your ass kicked, come back later. You don't run your ass. You can see, Breath of the Wild is one of those games where like you could see the end castle immediately. You could damn near run right to it. I mean, you had to get like the hang glider in the first area, but once you finish that first area, you could fucking go right to the end. And you know what would happen? Unless you're one of those weird speedrunning maniacs, you get your ass beat, and then you go, oh, this was dumb. Let me go wander around and do some other things first, and then I can beat it.
That's the point, man. It's made to chew up time.
Yes.
That's the
point.
But
be interesting while it's doing it. Have good story. That was all about that had a lot of physics puzzles that were cool. I mean, that's the one bitch about Elden Ring that people have is there's not really much in the way of jumping puzzles, physics puzzles. It's basically all combat-based. Most of the difficulty is combat-based.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's what it's supposed to be. But, something like Breath of the Wild is a little more robust in its, it's not just combat challenges. There's also other things.
It's like running a D&D game that's all combat and no puzzles.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine if that's what you're into. And again, it's anybody who expects anything different is dumb. But yeah.
Y'all is dumb.
And plus it was made in glorious Nippon, so you fucking play it because it's awesome.
Damn right.
So anyway, that's my rant about Elden Ring. We got a little bit of time here if you do want to talk about your other topic. You wanna bring up your thing.
Okay, quick aside. I'm not even gonna give this more than a minute. I just thought it was hilarious. The G4 TV rebranded again and decided they liked boobies again. Because that's what made them all the money to begin with. That's really all I have to say about that. It's just funny.
Yeah. I find it amusing. Like, they come back, right? And this is a network. Well, it was a network, but isn't anymore. That, it seemed like when they first came back, they didn't they didn't really do their research, right? They were doing it like they were still on TV, right? And not, people that are just some guy with a microphone is going to crush you, like
basically,
and some editing software is going to crush you, right? That's a problem. So you should probably change that up a little bit. No. And they weren't completely stupid. They went and got the completionist guy, which I like him. Well, I like his content, him himself. I don't, who knows? I think he got pulled into the social justice realm not willingly and just didn't know what he got himself into.
He didn't seem very happy.
He didn't seem very amused. But then you hire, you have Adam Sessler, who's just a complete jackass when it comes to this stuff. Like, G4, stay the fuck out of politics. That's not
video
just
G4.
games.
Everything
Everybody
that isn't politics.
Stay the fuck out of politics. And that doesn't mean you can't have political messages in your games, your content, and your whatever.
It's gotta be sneaky.
When it's not even sneaky. Just if it's written well
We've said
and
that
done well,
1,000 times.
you can have whatever the message you want. If it's written well, it won't feel ham-handed. And
yeah, but you have to.
People may not agree with you, but they'll at least appreciate what you did.
You have to be smart enough to sneak it in there.
Well, you gotta have talent. And that's one thing too many of these people lack, because their only talent is yelling at other people on Twitter. So anyway,
regardless, going
they set
straight
this up
from social justice to bikini time in what, a month?
So you set this network up.
Fucking funny.
So here's what I think happens, right? You set the network up. It's not doing very well, right? You're spending a lot of money to create content, and you're not getting a lot out of it because
people do that in their basements for free.
So okay, you do this. And then you decide, okay, we're going to do the 2016 to 2019 virtue signal social justice thing to gin up interest. Guys, read the fucking room. That's not working anymore. People see through it and they're just like, I'm not interested.
It's done, man.
I just don't care. I'm sick of being lectured to. I don't care. I'm sick of being lectured to by the continuation of a network that used to do nothing but Olivia Munn bikini shit. I just don't care. It's ridiculous.
That whole network was just Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb bikini time.
So then you go and you swap your YouTube channels around because you've nuked the algorithm on one of them.
Irreparable.
And then you come back and now you're back to bikini time content because apparently someone went and watched Twitch and was like, ooh, what's going on over here? Oh, Amaranth, what are you doing?
It's just too funny.
If y'all want to figure out what the hell's going on Twitch, just go watch Papa Gundam's videos. He will.
Yeah, I don't fuck with Twitch. I don't know what's going on.
He'll tell you what's going on in Twitch Thoughtland. But regardless, it's just funny. It's obvious. They should have just done this from the beginning if they were going to spend money on content, because
it would have got a lot more interest.
It would have got a lot more interest. It's just the same goofy shit. I would have had nostalgia views. It would have been fine. And yeah, Twitter would have bitched about it, but who gives a fuck what Twitter thinks?
They're fucked though, because it can't be propped up by fucking old Star Trek episodes.
I don't know. Maybe they really thought they'd get in on that ESG money, not realizing that shit's drying up, and they're not big enough to get ESG money.
No, you got to be a huge corporation.
And anyway, I'm not at all getting into that. But
anyway, last thing. What's your favorite decade of anime, 1970 to 2020, and what's the technically best?
Technically best. Ooh, that's a hard one.
That is a hard one. I was thinking about it all day.
What's my favorite? That's difficult. It's hard because, okay, if I could pick 10 years...
It's hard because you have to pick... It's hard. You can't pick a decade. You have to kind of
if I could pick 10 years, it would be 95 to 2005. Right? That would be my quote-unquote decade. If I have to limit it by 90 to 99 and
I couldn't either, so I'm not going to make you.
I'd probably pick 90 to 99 over 2000 to 2001.
Yeah.
Shockingly, I wouldn't pick the 80s. There's a lot of awesome stuff in the 80s that I like, but it really hit its stride in the 90s.
Yeah, it's late 80s to early 90s. It really picks up for me.
But yeah, I would probably, like I said, if it's just 10 years, 95, 2005, that time frame, very good. That's probably what I pick. What about you for favorite?
For favorite, yeah, it's got to be that early 2000s, because God, so much good shit. Probably 95 to 05.
Yeah,
there's so much good stuff.
And then you ask technically best. What is kind of objective? What do I think objectively is the best?
My personal favorite decade would probably be like 85 to 95.
Okay.
It was just that like sweet spot of like 89 to 91.
That's fair.
Like the absolute height of hand-drawn animation. Like just like amazing looking stuff.
I picked 95 to 2005. I agree that there's some jank. The only problem with 95 to 2005 is you're not wrong. 85 to 95 has better animation, I think. 95 to 2005, you lose. You know, they're starting to do CG and stuff, and some of that doesn't look very good, and it gets a little janky at times. But there's just too many of my favorite animes are there. Like Razafon's there, Gunnick's Sword is there.
True.
Yeah, too many of my, like, if I went and picked my like top 5 favorite anime, they probably all are in that 10-year period.
I would think
unless
so.
They're brand new. Like there's some newer ones I really like, but
I would think so. It's just God, there's so much good stuff.
Oh, there's so much good stuff. If I picked if I had to live with the other one, I wouldn't be sad about it. Like that's another good decade. I mean, by picking 95 to 2005, I'm missing a lot of the Gundam that I love. Right? I get OSMS team, but a lot of the other stuff is all. I miss G Gundam. I miss
that 10 years so
tons of
densely
UC.
packed though. Like you can't.
There's a bunch of other stuff.
If you can only pick 10 years, it kind of has to be that.
It's tough.
I would say.
So anyway, what's objectively the best? So we both split it on the 5s, which is interesting, but I think that's really more where things shake out because to me the early 80s are more like the late 70s and the late 80s are more like the early 90s and et cetera.
Yeah, it's always weird like that. Like there's like that weird decade
spillover.
hangover that's like till
but
the middle of the next one.
What is objectively the best to you?
Objectively the best.
That's what you asked. You asked like, what's your favorite? What's kind of what's the best, right? Technically the best, objectively the best, whatever you want to say. And that's overall, right? Not on a specific factor.
I'm split between the early 2000s and the late 80s.
Okay.
It's hard to like make a decision because God, that golden era, like I love so much about it. Just the character designs, the animation, the fucking ridiculous over the top 80s gore.
I'm gonna have a hot take. It's whatever the last 5 years was. That's not a decade, but whatever the last 5 years was. Like if you ask me it today, it's the last 5 years. If you ask me it 2 years from now, it's the last 5 years. If you ask me it 10 years from now, it's the last 5 years.
That makes sense.
I really think anime has been progressing the whole time. I'm not saying that it's all good. I'm not saying that the most epic shows are in there. I'm just saying that technically, I think that they keep getting. Look at something like Demon Slayer. For the love of God, look at Demon Slayer and what they've done. That's a fucking shonen show, and look at it.
It's so distilled down to like perfect shonen.
Look at those Evangelion movies. Like
Third time's a charm.
Yeah, right. Look at Hathaway. Like,
oh yeah.
I just think that if you tell me objectively, their writing hasn't really fallen off. Like, and look, people always make this mistake. You get survivorship bias from the older stuff, right? Like the stuff you remember is the good shit and not the bad shit. There was a ton of bad shit you don't remember. I was thinking about that too
because you have those like rose-colored glasses of like everything was great, back then, but it's like, that's 1 out of the 10 sucky shows that season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you probably don't remember half of them because we never got them over here.
There's 4 seasons a year. There's like 40 shows a season.
But especially, sitting in the West, there's hundreds and thousands of shows. Hundreds and thousands, not hundreds of thousands, of shows from Japan that we never got.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Never going to get. They were never popular enough. They're never going to translate them. No fan translators give a shit. Like, they're just lost to the ether to us.
Yeah, so you're already getting, like, top 10%.
You're already getting some bit of, survivorship bias there.
It's very true.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a good question. I like that question.
I like a good question and discussion. Regardless, we got to get on it. Speaking of the golden age of the late 80s, we're going to get down on that last 4 episodes of Bubblegum Crisis. Because goddamn, they're like movies. So long.
Yeah, so they get longer as it goes on. So early on, like the first episode, I want to say is like 40-ish minutes. And then, you have a couple half-hour episodes in there. And then when you get towards the end, they're all like 40, 45 minutes. I think the last one might even be 50. Pulling it up here.
Oh, the Nene episode?
Sorry, I'm using a trackpad on a computer, and trackpads are the devil's work. Satan created trackpads to torture us.
That's why I haul a mouse around with my laptop like an idiot.
Yeah, so the last episode's 52 minutes. It's the longest episode of the damn
I believe it.
OVA.
They packed a lot of shit in that episode.
It's a good episode. It's a strange last episode, but it's a good episode. So anyway, I want to talk about this in kind of two parts. Because episodes 5 and 6, Moonlight Rambler and Red Eyes,
story, yeah.
they're basically the same story. It's basically one movie split into two parts. And it's the Masami Obari, like, interlude. Like, the character designs change. Everything looks way more Obari. Like, I love it.
All the mech designs are, like, straight Obari, straight out of Gundam.
So let's talk about that first.
Faceplate, everything has horns.
So we talked about Obari before. If you want, like, to me, the newest modernist height of Obari, it's Godana, right? Like,
oh fuck yeah!
Just the look, like it's so Obari. But you know, back in the day, you're gonna want to watch Fight Ixer 1 if you want like Obari. Or,
oh hell yeah!
Isn't Zeo Reimer him too?
Yeah, you can tell just by looking at it.
Regardless, look up Masami Obari and check out his works. Right, like he's got a lot of cool OVAs back in the day and some like he's got cool shit. But it's funny because like Leon's character design, all of a sudden he's this lantern jawed giant superhero looking dude. You're like,
wait a minute.
And he reverts back to normal after these two episodes.
Yeah, it's really like that first few scenes, everything's so barried out, and then it calms down.
So you got Moonlight Rambler, which is, it starts off with it's almost like, you know, what happened in Blade Runner before Blade Runner, the actual movie.
Yeah, it really is kind of.
Where it's like, you know, the android's actually escaping. You can tell even from the beginning when you first watch it that they're not, you know, there's some sort of bioroid, android.
Oh, excuse me,
boomer.
sexoroid, sir.
They are sexoroids. You are correct. You can't tell that right away, although the character designs are extra sexy for that purpose.
I'd like to say sexoroid.
So anyway, they're escaping from the space station. They fight some awesome boomer designs. That like Doberman.
The Dobermans are probably the awesomest boomer design ever.
Crazy skull, like so fucking.
Yeah,
cool.
They have these like crazy teeth, like kind of just on the outside of their mouths. It's
so unfortunately, these sexoroids, they crash outside of Neo Tokyo. I think it's Neo Tokyo. Mega Tokyo.
Mega Tokyo. Fucking Mega City 1.
Listen, there's a lot of names for future Tokyo. Mega Tokyo.
This is Mega
I just call it Shin Tokyo because I'm sure that's what it is. It's always Shin everything. So anyway, they crash outside the city, and they didn't just steal, like... They didn't just escape. They also stole, like, a ridiculous, you know, super advanced mech.
Which is a really nice Obari design.
Which is really awesome. And one of the two sexoroids is injured, and like they need human blood to survive somehow. So there's like a rumor of a vampire going around. Like,
yeah, for some reason that model of sexoroid like needs like to replace its like it has human blood for some reason, needs to replace it all the time. Just killing and it has fangs.
Dudes, it like make out point. Like it's very weird.
That was a guy that worked for when I was editing through the shit, I like rewatched that episode, and that was a guy that worked for Genom.
Yeah, it's always Genom. This was like Genom's. I believe this is Genom's like research division doing things without the permission of Genom's other division.
They were up to no good.
The tower, if you will.
They were up to no good on the space station.
So you also get that Largo, the other sinister character, right?
Oh, that fucking guy
who shows up here, and it turns out that he's. Well, I won't spoil who he is because you should watch it, but he's a returning character, or at least in a new form. Let's leave it at that. So anyway, this episode, like I said, it's a two-parter. The first one, you know, you get like, this murder mystery kind of thing going on.
Yeah,
they're trying to figure out who did it, and like Pris's new friend, who's the one of the sexoroids, obviously.
Yeah.
And at the end, friggin' Leon tries to take on the. Unfortunately, like the mech will like take you over if it thinks you're dead or you're all screwed up.
Yeah, it just goes into automatic mode.
Goes into automatic murder mode.
Everything.
Oh, it also has a mini neutron bomb in it, by the way. Just
whatever,
just in case.
It's fine.
So Leon tries to stop it.
Leon's mech is cool too. Also
Leon's
very
awesome.
Obari.
Yeah, and then.
Except it's like blue and bright yellow for some reason.
Fighting ensues. And
just a funny color
Leon finally realizes, although he probably should have realized before, that Pris is one of the Nightsabers.
Yeah.
And Pris is able to eventually. She's got to make a horrible decision at the end, but she's able to stop the mech. And it's got a little melancholy ending, but it's not really an ending because again, there's the second part, Red Eyes. So That one starts out with the fake lightsabers.
Oh yeah, it's a fake lightsaber.
Yeah,
one.
so which turn out to just be boomers, which is hilarious. It's not even other people in suits; they just explode up into larger size, and they're boomers because everything does that.
I just love the mechanic of boomers. Like it's such a great MacGuffin. It's just like bam, boomers.
Yeah, why do they build them with so much extra internal space where they just like expand out? How do they walk anywhere? It must be like Dorothy from fucking Big
yeah, it
O.
must be like hyper
so
dense,
heavy, like.
hyper dense and
Hey,
hyper heavy.
5'6" girl, why are you like indenting the floor? Like,
Right.
oh, because I grow into a 8 foot tall fucking mechanical monster with lasers in my mouth.
It's like 5 feet wide.
Okay, boomers are the best. The best part about Bubblegum Crisis. It's so good. So anyway, Red Eyes is kind of a continuation of that, and it really deals with Largo because Largo's like working the sides with Genome, and again, it makes a lot more sense when you figure out who he is, and he's basically like an invincible freaking.
He's a super boomer.
He's a super boomer, and he's also got like from the first episode, he's got control of the goddamn space lasers, so he's space lasering shit all over the place.
It is wild.
He's a goddamn terror.
I wish I had a space laser.
And this episode is like the Pris Enui episode. Oh, she's all because of what she had to do at the end of Moonlight Rambler. She's all sad, and she's got to figure shit out. She's gonna quit the Nightsabers, and then you get the debut of the Nightsabers upgraded suits at the end, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
Because of course they got to have some upgraded suits. They don't look a lot different, but they're cool. Same idea, but some different designs, different colors, whatever. I think this is when Lena finally gets like the cutters on the headpiece.
Yes, I believe so.
Although she might have had those before, I don't know. But
I don't think she used them.
It's a very Obari thing. They
Right.
probably were just decoration originally. And Obari's like, no, you cut things with that. This is cool.
What's wrong with you? Those things are supposed to cut things.
Anyway, they deal with that. They deal with Largo. Like I said, it's really episodes 5 and 6. Moonlight Rambler, Red Eyes. They're really a 2-part episode. Like it's the same.
It's basically a movie.
It resolves everything, and they're very good. They're very good, and like I said, the animation style is different. Like it gets very Obari in there, for sure.
I mean, if you're not paying super close attention, you might not notice it. But if you're watching it, if you've watched it as many times as I have, you definitely notice it quite a bit.
Yeah. So the last 2 episodes, I won't spend too much time on episode 7. It's a good episode on its own, but it's
very much like episode 3.
It is. So Double Vision. It kind of pulls together the story from episode 2, was it? The Mad Machine one.
Oh, yeah. That was the Lena episode.
Is that Born to Kill? Yeah, Born to Kill. The Lena episode. So, again, Lena's still a cardboard cutout of a character. I said this at the end. I'm like, everybody gets some, I think, real character development except Lena. Like, they do 2 episodes kind of about her, but you don't really know anything about her. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Lena just doesn't really get a lot of character development.
No, all you know about her is she is a fucking...
she does fitness stuff, and she's a...
she's an aerobics instructor. Because nothing is more 80s than the
and she's from like an or she may also work as like some sort of record distributor or licensor or something. There's something going on there, too.
Oh, no.
That's what her friend was doing.
It was her boyfriend, I think. Some guy she was dating.
She's got like a million boyfriends. It doesn't... She's not a character. She's a cardboard cutout. I love Bubblegum Crisis, but she's a cardboard cutout. Anyway, this episode, you get the sister of the girl that got killed in Born to Kill.
Yep.
And, she's looking for revenge. I mean, that's basically all it is. It's a very kind of simple revenge story.
Yes.
She's out for revenge. She's going to get her revenge. The end. I don't really have much more to say about that episode. It's very straightforward.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot to go into.
Yeah, it was good action in it. It's a good episode on its own. I like it a lot. So don't take my short shrifting of it as not liking it. It's a good episode. It's a very straightforward episode.
Yeah, there's not a lot of nits to pick there.
Very excellent. So then there's Scoop Chase. And Scoop Chase to me is a very interesting episode. So one, it's the Nene, character building episode for one.
And it's actually, they do a really good job of it.
A really good job of it. Right after fucking up Lena's character development the whole time, they do a really good job of Nene.
Excuse me. They gave Nene such a good arc.
Such a good arc. Because she's like she's the weakest of them, right? At least from a physical standpoint, right? She's not the awesome combat one. She's not, she's not funding them. And Celia Stingray, like, the financier who's...
Yeah, I mean, she basically... She's the only reason they have all the money and the suits and this and that.
She's like I'm good at everything, but I'm not. She's jack of all trades, right? Like, she's good, but she's not the best.
Nene does all the other stuff, right? And this is the episode where she really gets to show off, and Maki has a good part in this episode too. She really gets to show off what she's actually good for, right? Like she's Hacker Man, right? She gets to do all her Hacker Man stuff.
Well, and she works for the AD police. So
yeah,
she's
so she got access to all that stuff.
Getting information.
And changing stuff in their databases to hide the Nightsabers activities.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, extremely useful, like extremely good character. And it's cool to see. And, she's working on getting better at the other stuff, but that's never going to be her strong suit. It doesn't have to be. So, part of the setup of the episode is the chief's, the AD police chief's daughter or niece. His niece. Yeah,
it's always niece.
It is always the niece. Don't ask me why. Japan's got to think for that. So the chief's niece is like in town and she's trying to get the scoop on the Nightsabers. She wants to reveal their identity, and Pris breaks her camera at some point. She's very butthurt about it. So that's the whole episode. There's a great interaction between her and Nene. And look, it's a lot of slice of life. It's a bit of a slow episode at times, but it's really good. And I like the payoff at the end.
It's got a cool fight at the end.
Yeah, when the boomers are like working through their there's this hilariously comical, the villain in is hilariously comical jackass who's just
was just a funny
I'm disgruntled GM employee. I'm just going to steal boomers and I'm going to make the ultimate boomers and I'm going to teach them how to
he was basically sending boomers out to fight the Nightsabers. I mean, this is a classic anime trope.
Yep.
So he could get
the
combat data, so he could make boomers as good as,
or better than the Nightsabers.
Yeah, every fucking anime on Earth has done that. But
so yeah, comic supervillain. It doesn't matter. Like, he's a cardboard cutout himself. It's fine. It serves the purpose.
Absolutely.
Because it's really an 8A, character building episode. And it's got a great resolution. It's a strange last episode. I don't think they knew it was going to be their last episode because it was supposed to be, I think, 13 episodes. It got canceled, which is unfortunate because I would have watched 5 more episodes of this.
Oh, hell yes.
All day. I would have watched 20 more episodes of this.
They probably cost quite a bit of money to make.
They were definitely not cheap. And, Scoop Chase, you could tell, I don't think they got the full budget on that one. It doesn't look bad at all, but there are times where I was like,
this doesn't look.
It doesn't look as good. The designs are a little. Some of the animation's a little simpler. It's just I don't know. I got the feeling they were already. It's not cardboard cutouts in the copier levels of bad. Oh no. Or my last episode's in black and white and has a bunch of still pictures of Gunbuster doing cool shit. Oh no. He's redeemed himself. Don't get me wrong. I love the man, but early on, not so much. His visions were too much for Japanese budgets for TV shows.
It's very true. He was just ahead of his time.
Yeah, Scoop Chase is good. Check it out. That was April 2nd, 92. Looks like when it came out, or it was, let's see, Wikipedia here, so, you got to take it. Oh, that was English release. So the Japanese release was actually 91. So Bubblegum Crisis, again, spans that period, right? It's like 86 to 91, 87 to 91. I can't recommend the damn show enough. It's
if you're an anime enthusiast, and you haven't seen it,
it's foundational. It's classic. If you love, cyberpunk, that's what I was looking for. You love cyberpunk, Blade Runner type stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For the love of God, watch this. It's very good.
It's peak cyberpunk.
It's very good and it's very cool. And I wish we got more things like this. Like there's not a lot. Even in anime, there's not a lot that's like Bubblegum Crisis. Not nearly enough. In 2040, watch it at your own peril.
I'm not even going to get into it.
We're not going to get into it. Now, Bubblegum Crash, maybe we'll do a review of that eventually. It's not, I don't think it's actually out on Blu-ray. I'm going to check again. I have the DVD somewhere. I have to dig it up. It's much panned. I remember watching it and being not all that happy with it. It's kind of generic.
Because it's supposed to be like the official ending. Because they have a lot of like Lena stuff that they allude to that they never
there's a
really
whole bunch
do
of
anything.
There's a whole bunch of hanging threads that they don't need to be resolved. It's not like, oh my God, I need to know. But like,
not Lena.
I think it was out Pris.
Celia.
Oh, Celia. Yes, there's a lot of Celia setup. There's a lot of Celia setup where they need to resolve it. Bubblegum Crash does some of that, I believe, but it's been so long since I watched it. We'll probably talk about it just because I kind of want to rewatch it just to see if it's as mediocre as I remember.
Oh God, it's been 20 years easy.
But Bubblegum Crisis, I can't say enough. I mean,
it's like it's one of the best, like most classic cyberpunk.
It's a foundational classic. Like if someone told me, "Hey, give me 5 anime things that someone needs to watch," it's going to be on that list. It might be number 5 on that list because I'm going to send them to Miyazaki first, and then I'm going to send them to, something shorter, a movie, Lupin. I'll probably double Miyazaki him with like Princess Mononoke and like Cagliostro or something. But I'm going to send him probably to the AVA movies, and I'm going to get to Bubblegum Crisis pretty quickly. Like, out of 80s OVAs, it's going to be near the top of the list. You know, Ghost in the Shell, that's 90s, and Ninja Scrolls 90s. Those are both up there, too. But Bubblegum Crisis is up there. It's in, if it's not my top 5, it's top 10 for, like, foundational anime that you need to watch, right? So, yeah, I've gushed enough about it. I don't think I can say much more about it.
Yeah, I mean, just watch it.
Yeah.
That's that. Until next time, have a fantastic week. We'll catch you then.
Peace. Well, that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.